Hello and welcome to another mainline production of A Person or Persons of Interest. One of our guests today is Dennis McAndrews of McAndrews Law Offices in Berwyn, Pennsylvania, a suburb of Philadelphia. Today we are here to talk about Dennis's passion for Mother's Home in Darby, Pennsylvania, also a suburb of Philadelphia. Dennis, who have you brought along with you today as your guests?
Here we have Brigid Risco, who's our Executive Director, and Kaye Washington, who's our Residential Services Director.
I guess the first thing I'd like to ask you is who founded Mother's Home, and I guess in their purpose or their initiative or passion?
Yeah, what really happened was a local physician, Dr. George Asayu, out in southern Delaware County, southeast Delaware County, was aware of a need, and he would actually take pregnant women into the home if they had nowhere to live. He and his wife supported really any number of women over the years, and that desire really gave rise to Mother's Home because there were simply more than he could realistically handle. And so a group of concerned people concerned about homeless pregnant women, got together and decided, look, let's try to find somewhere that we can make this happen. And fortunately, they were able to locate essentially a former convent in Darby by BVM Church, and rent it then from the church and the archdiocese and begin accepting women. And it's really a lovely facility, and I'll let Brigid and Kaye talk more about it, but these women really for the first time in their lives have their own room. I often think of the movie that the football player, I'm trying to remember the name of it now, who that was homeless and was taken into the and he was shown to his
Sandra
bedroom.
Bullock.
Sandra Bullock was in it, and
I forget the name of that movie.
Green Mile.
What is it?
Was it the Green Mile?
No, but we'll think of it. But anyway, he was shown to his room in the family home because he was homeless, and they took him in, and he said, well, this is the first time I've ever had that. And she said, a room of my own, of your own? And he said, no, a mattress. And for many of the women that Mother's Home serves, this is the first time they've had a room of their own, sometimes certainly a decent mattress to sleep on, and sometimes they've been couch surfing, and but they want to have their child, and they need somewhere to live. They need people to support them. And Mother's Home now has been around for over 30 years and does that. Before
we get to the question I wanted to ask you, because we are live and broadcasting anywhere that anybody's clicked on, BVM stands for Blessed Virgin Mary.
In Darby, Pennsylvania.
Not to be snooty, I'm just doing that.
No, absolutely.
I'm doing that for the general audience.
Right, absolutely.
That's why I said a suburb of Philadelphia, like where is Berwyn?
Right.
So, no, I'm sorry.
No,
I didn't mean to be offensive.
Problem.
Anyway, how did you become involved in it?
Well, I was friends with a number of the people who were involved in trying to make this happen. There was a group of people really across Delaware County who saw, look, there's a need here. We've got women who have nowhere to live, want to be able to have their child. How can we help them? And so I was friends with them. I gave a bit of help in the initial zoning issues. There were some zoning challenges, as there always are anytime you have a congregate care facility, but we got the zoning. And then after, and I'd always been a supporter of it, because to me it's the most concrete way that you can help a woman who's at a time of, I have 4 daughters, at a time of really desperate need. And they want to have their child. And really the only thing standing between them, the street, frankly an abortion, is somewhere to live and somebody to care for them. And this made sense.
Did someone reach out to you to get you involved in it?
Well, I was aware of it because I was friends. It was kind of a grapevine kind of thing. Any number of people, and many of them were lawyers in Delaware County, who really wanted to be able to help these women. And then there were other people, just part of the community, who again, felt, look, this is a need. How can we fill it? And the pieces came together once the facility was available. It's a challenge, and I know that Brigid and Kaye will be able to speak some of the challenges of keeping a 100-year-old or so convent building that's stone and old, and but we have some wonderful people that work there who are able to make this is a home. The name accurately reflects what it is. For these women, it is a home, and it's, in many cases, the best home they've ever had. For some women, it actually is their first time living in a congregate setting, though. We've had women who came from wonderful homes, but whose families said, if you're going to have this baby, we don't want you here. I mean, literally, that one was you don't mind me telling us a quick story. I had clients that I did special education for, and their daughter moved out and went to Florida, became pregnant, and the family said, well, she asked, can I come home? But I need your help. I don't have any money. Will you pay to bring me home? And they said, yeah, we'll do it, but you can't have the baby. So, you got to have an abortion. And so she said, all right, send the plane ticket. Well, she got here and said, not going to do it. And I had told the family about Mother's Home. Look, I just want you to know that's an option, because I was doing some work for them. And then I didn't see them for a year. And they said, I want you to know, when she came home, we wouldn't let her come to our house. That was the deal. She went to Mother's Home. We've had the baby, and now I'm babysitting for her. I mean, everybody just loves it.
It all worked out.
Yeah, it did.
Which leads me to, how did you get to know these ladies? Your guests.
Good fortune. Brigid is just a magnificent executive director. And you can tell when somebody's a great executive director because the executive committee of the board, I've been on the board now for almost 20 years, but when you have a wonderful executive director, that means that the executive committee of like 5 people on the board doesn't have to meet to solve problems. She solves all the problems. I don't think we've had a meeting in 2 years. The board meets, but not the executive committee to solve insurmountable problems. They're all solved by Brigid. And Kaye does a wonderful job of putting the residential program together. Because imagine, and I'm talking too much, I've got to turn it over to them. Imagine, though, having anywhere from half a dozen to a dozen pregnant women, half a dozen to a dozen babies, all living under the same roof. And they are homeless, And by the way, they can stay typically for as long as they need until they have a support mechanism in place to leave and are secure. So all that has its challenges. And again, Brigid.
So who gets the application first?
Yeah, who does?
Typically, a prospective resident calls in, and we do a phone call interview. So that's usually Carly, our main office administrator. And then it goes to Kaye, and then we decide to bring the person in to do an in-person interview.
Like, what would the interview consist of? If someone calls in and says,
we have a checklist of all of the requirements we have for them to come stay with us. And if they don't meet those requirements, we have resources that we refer them to for another shelter or a family shelter or organization.
How young of a woman, girl, will you take?
18.
18?
You have to be over 18.
You have to be 18. Mm-hmm. Is that just the rules of Mother's Home?
Always been, yes.
Or that's state regulated, or?
Well, it's really our rule, but it becomes dramatically more complex when you're dealing with a minor who has parental authority and the parents are disagreeing with everything. Right. So at least here, whether they're 18, we have one person to deal with.
Right.
Do you have you ever had a circumstance where the mother's addicted?
Yes, we do get those quite often nowadays, yeah.
And they're brought in?
Well, it depends upon where they're at in their recovery.
We get dual diagnosis, mental health and drug addiction. And as long as mom is in an outpatient treatment program, we do allow mom to come into the program.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Do any of your mothers come from out of state?
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. usually local, Delaware, New Jersey, but we have had others come from other states.
From out of state. So you're kind of like pretty well known.
Google. Google is our main.
Or social media? You're on social
Yes,
media?
we are. We're on
What,
Facebook.
Instagram?
Not on Instagram yet, but that's our next goal.
Okay.
We just had a mom come from Jersey, and she would commute from Jersey, from Darby to Jersey to go to a nursing program. She completed the program and got housing, but she couldn't find any shelters in Jersey. So she called us, we welcomed her in, and she was able to, just by having foundation, a place to stay, a place to have her baby. After she had her baby, she was able to go back to school, get her CNA certificate, and she has a home now in Jersey. She went back to Jersey.
It appears as though, as in reading it, you supply physical, emotional, and developmental needs.
Correct.
And positive skills.
Yes.
Is it also, these are my words, is it also a safe house to protect women from abuse?
We definitely
Yes.
have domestic abuse clients. Yes,
Yeah.
we do. We're very confidential with all of our women. People call in. We don't give any information about our women to anybody.
So what would a normal day for you consist of? I mean, you're here now for the time we spend together. What would you be doing on a normal day?
Well, most times we're in the office dealing with calendar schedules, and Kay makes a schedule of classes for each month. My side is more business, and then partially the resident side, dealing with issues sometimes and paperwork and bills and
Do you
Repairs.
repairs.
Definitely repairs.
I don't know, this is probably a peculiar question. Do you ever go out and like speak in front of like
We don't
schools?
get a whole lot of those requests here and
Yeah.
there. We do. We did like an elementary school just to gather donations, really, and put the word out there of
Or
what we do.
if a local church or
Right.
organization
Right.
wanted to, they have a baby shower, they want to present gifts, and they want their organization to learn a little more about us, they'll invite us to their organization or church, and we'll speak and eat with them and have a good time, and thank them for their gifts and everything, and welcome them to Mother's Home, so maybe they can get to see our women and learn more about our program.
Do you counseling service? Tell me about the counseling service you provide.
We don't typically do counseling because we're not a medical facility. We're not a mental health facility. So what we do is we refer our clients to the outside resources. And a lot of them come into our organization with those already in place. So we always encourage to keep your appointments. And we supply SEPTA passes, a couple per month per each girl, to make sure they keep those doctor's appointments, counseling appointments, therapy appointments. And we have an organization not far from us called Mary-Kay,
yes.
and they provide a lot of mental health.
So
And a lot of counseling, really, and it's ironic because while we don't do kind of formal counseling in terms of like a social worker or anything, there is a milieu that goes on all day that the women are with our staff. We're constantly meeting them where they are and talking about how to solve problems, how to move ahead with issues that they're finding with other women, with finding outside resources, planning for the future. So, sometimes they call it the therapeutic milieu in a mental health facility, where it's not a formal counseling session, but just meeting people where they are all the time makes a huge difference in their lives. And I just wanted to add, many, if not most, and these women can talk to that, of our women have jobs, that they're out working during the day. So these, sometimes we get a vision of a shelter where people come in like maybe and just sleep there and then go sit on the street. There's nothing like that. One, if they don't have a job, they're with us. But many of them have jobs and are out working and trying to improve themselves, which to me is just a wonderful and exciting thing that, because then they're able to save some money so that when they have the baby, everybody's healthy, everybody's secure, they have enough for it. One of the biggest barriers is a down payment, for a rental. But because of what we're able to supply them and because so many of them work, they're able to save for the down payment so they can get a lease.
We're very mom-centric. We want our moms to be healthy physically, mentally, so they can take care of the baby once they leave us.
Do you ever have to deal with the fathers?
Not typically.
No.
We don't see a lot of the dads come around.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But we do welcome
Right.
reunification with
Right.
family strongly.
Which happens a lot. Mhm.
Yeah. So just to add on to what Dennis said, we don't have like intense case management. We have like goal setting where based on case by case, like depending on what the resident needs, we'll set goals with the resident. And our job here is to provide like a loving, caring environment. So we just motivate and encourage our residents with following up on the goals that they set. So if mom wants to go to school, we encourage mom. We'll meet with her. We'll do a goal sheet. We'll make sure mom is following through with their goal sheet. Then mom has enough courage and strength. She will then go to work, save money. She'll have housing. And sometimes she goes back with her kid's father and they find housing together. But at mother's home, mom is building that foundation. She's getting the skills and the tools she needs to make it when she leaves mother's home.
Do you have any nice feel-good stories you can share?
Well, we had one woman who became a board member for quite a while. She was
A what?
a woman who came homeless, had her child, was able to save enough to get her own home, and then came back and was a board member for about 5 years. Yeah. So, it's ironic, though, because I tell people when I do, you asked, do we talk in the community? Well, we do have fundraising events. We do baby bottle drives at churches and organizations where we just ask people to fill up baby bottles with loose change. So we'll talk to those groups that are willing to do that. And we're able to tell them, what happens every day and how our people work. And we're constantly engaging with them and helping them through. So it's, the whole process to me is feel good because people come to us in a sense of desperation and they leave with hope and genuine hope. And that's pretty common.
And all of our residents are in a different stage of their life. We have an 18-year-old, we can have a 35-year-old. So they need a different care plan because of where they're at in their lives at that point.
It sounds like an incredible. Do you have a connection with St. Thomas of Villanova too, as well?
Well, I'm a parishioner at St. Thomas Villanova, and they, most of the churches that we ask, Catholic, Protestant, even an occasional synagogue or mosque, will welcome our baby bottle drive because it's not much work for them. We pass out the bottles, give a 2-minute talk, people fill it up with change, we come back and pick it up. But some prefer just to do a grant. And St. Thomas of Villanova has been very generous over the years because we don't get government funding. We're not a government-funded agency by and large. I mean, occasionally we'll get a small thing to fix the windows. But so we have to do fundraising, and we do it through the baby bottles, through grants, through newsletters, donors. Have some very generous corporations that have helped us. The Phillies have been very generous to us. The Connolly Foundation has been generous to us. Gennardi's has some really, and I'm at the risk of leaving some out. We've had some that have been generous, but it's always an issue, the fundraising, because one, we're not government funded, and two, as I tell people when I talk, this isn't like a university where you have alumni that go out and are becoming doctors and lawyers. They may become self-sufficient and they may do okay, but by and large, they came from very challenging circumstances. And so we have to go to the public at large to see, look, we're giving these people a shot, and giving them a shot they didn't have.
How does one find you?
As far as resident or donor?
How does? I mean, it's very impressive.
We're the only homeless shelter for pregnant women in Delaware County. So if you Google us, we're the top, or we should be the top.
There's some word of mouth too.
Nurses, doctors, word of mouth.
We have in the past gotten referrals from Planned Parenthood. So, we take people however they come to us, and they go through this admission process. We don't take active drug users. If they can't meet the standards that we set, then we have to refer them because we want to make sure, one, that everybody is safe, secure, making progress, and two, that we're a good neighbor. I mean, work very hard at being a good neighbor.
Really?
Really?
No, I
mean, we take care of the property, and make sure that everything is safe and secure. We have
We're staffed 24/7, which is a challenge.
You provide educational classes on budgeting, legal,
We
and nutrition.
We do.
I guess the women that come to you have never had that.
Some haven't ever had a job. Some have never had baby training or anything. Some don't know how to make a bottle. So it's the range of everything for our women is extreme.
I guess it's also important. What attracted you to wanting other than a job? What attracted you to either one of you can individually or both can answer?
I'm a mother of 4, so I know what it's like to have kids and babies and the hardships you go through taking care of them. So that's what attracted me. And I did have a cousin who passed when she was pregnant in 2000 something. And mother's home would have been the ideal situation for her. So that was, a big.
So that was, and yourself.
And I just have a passion for loving and caring for people in general. I grew up in like a rough environment, so I know what it's like to not have and to work hard to get what you need, and to be grateful. So that's what I try to provide for the ladies that we have here. Love, gratitude, respect, self-care, self-love, and strength. You need these things to survive, to love yourself, to know that you can do it. You made the right decision. You chose life. So you just need some encouragement and love sometimes. So that's my reason.
You wanted to say something, I could tell.
Well, Kaye said self-love, which is really true, and the coordinate to that is self-respect. Now they can respect themselves because they're making it. They've gone from a situation where it was total chaos. Their life typically is chaotic. We have a place to go home every night. And if you don't have that, everything else falls away. It doesn't fall into place. It falls away.
No one should be homeless.
Yeah.
No one should be homeless.
Right.
And
nobody leaves, and I'm sorry, John, nobody leaves until they have a place. Hey, we don't want people staying until their kids are in college, but we make sure that before people leave that they have a secure place. So that's a huge thing, and
it used to be till the baby was like they come in at any point in their pregnancy and they stay till the baby is 6 months old. At this point, we don't use those parameters because housing is so hard to find right now. So we've given extension upon extension upon extension until they're stable enough to. It sounds like the educational process that you have, it gives them the self-confidence. Correct.
And self-esteem to go out and want to do something, because I'm sure, and many of them come to you, my word, broken. Would I be correct in saying that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, and I'm sure they don't always come from the best of circumstances.
Correct.
You may occasionally find a young girl, a woman that has a safe environment to go to, or she may not be there, right? So that's what it sounds like. You build that for them. Right. To give them that.
We've had women who come from other shelters because they've gotten pregnant at that shelter and they can't stay there. So then we're the next option.
Do you have celebrations there, like baptisms?
I'm glad you asked that, because I wanted that. We have some great celebrations.
Baptisms. If that's what the women want to do.
But our Christmas.
Yes. It's usually their first Christmas experience or holiday experience, because Christmas isn't for everybody, but it's usually their first holiday experience.
You have a holiday experience? You have like Halloween and...
We have parties for everything, basically.
We have a lot of
we have classes every
dinners.
night, and then we have celebrations for the holidays.
And we have a wonderful board.
Right.
Our board members are really amazing. They cook for our residents. They come down, they have dinner, they sit with our residents and staff members. So they're a part of the program. It's not like they're just sitting, somewhere else and just checking in. They actually come in and be involved and, hold the babies and introduce themselves and say, you are a great person, make our residents and staff feel welcome.
Do the women, are they estranged from their parents?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
And I know Dennis brought out the fact that they got reunited with their daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have those situations as
Yeah,
well?
for sure. We also
You
have
do
women
that?
who have other children that they want to be reunited with when they leave our shelter. So that's their main goal. So we really push for that and help make that happen.
And you said you had a 35-year-old.
We have. We've had older than that.
And she was homeless.
We've had teachers.
Or they were married and
Yeah.
didn't work out, or it was an abusive situation.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
We had one woman, she came in and she didn't have anything. She was married, and her husband went through a situation and separated, and she was homeless. He put her out, and she built herself up. And I love to say that she did the work, because we're just there to support. Our women are doing the work. And she bought a home, leaving mother's home. It was beautiful. You know, she worked hard, she fixed her credit, and she bought a home. So that was a wonderful journey to be a part of.
What's the process of helping a mother reach her goal? Like, she just walks in the door. What's the first thing that happens? She just walks in the door. She's coming in today. I see all the things that you provide.
Basics, a tour of the facility, the rules of the facility. Kay walks them through a huge list of things. They have to sign a bunch of documents. And then
the best part is,
right.
you know, taking our mom up to her room, and mom gets to see her room where she's safe, her single room, she's safe. And our building is not like the normal shelter that you would think of. It's more of a house setting.
Like a dorm.
Like a house setting. We have kitchen, computer room, dining room, you know, we have meditation room, we have a prayer room. We have different rooms, so our women, if you don't want to stay in your room, you can come down. You know, you can socialize, you can be alone, you can read, you know, you can do activities with your baby. So I walk the women through, the potential resident through the home so she can feel at home. You know, and let her go in her room, and mom can rearrange the room the way she wants to. She can decorate it. You know, we want her to feel at home. We want her to feel loved. And that's where the foundation starts.
And we have a great maintenance man who's always helpful with putting up curtains. Or
Yeah, that was really important that I wanted to get that out.
Yes.
Yeah. That's really very, very
And then also
important.
the director comes out. We have a wonderful director, Miss Briscoe, whom I really admire. She comes out and she meets every resident, like really meet them, shakes their hand, welcome them. We carry luggage, like, you know, our women are not just coming with one bag. Right. They're coming with like 10 bags and totes, and, you know, the director is coming out carrying bags to the second or third floor, and we're making our resident feel welcome. So it's just a team effort and a loving environment.
What happens after you ladies go home? At whatever time you go home?
Well, we
5
have
o'clock.
shifts. 4 o'clock it's 8 to 4, 4 to 12, 12 to 8. So we have a 4 o'clock to 12 o'clock shift. So we have 2 people working that shift, or sometimes 3, and they take care of the nighttime chores and curfew and the class that evening.
And the ladies ultimately run the place themselves, or
Not necessarily,
No?
because we do have rules that they have to follow. Some
Right.
don't love that, but we do have rules they have to follow.
We have life skill classes
Right.
3 days a week. So 5 p.m. or 11 p.m. our residents are in classes. We also have chores set at 9 p.m. Each resident is responsible for taking care of a part of the home as it would be her own, so that she can have those skills and so that she can feel at home. So we work as a community to make sure the house is clean. The residents clean their own bathrooms, their rooms. We have a wonderful staff. Our staff is like family.
Right.
So we all cover for each other, as far as like when one shift is done, the next one is picking up to make sure that the resident is safe and secure and has someone there to support them.
So we communicate through a logbook
Yes.
and see each shift.
it sounds like you have really a big role to play.
We all
Do you think
do.
Dennis appreciates it?
I know he does. Yes.
I'd better, because maybe I'd be doing it if.
It's a team effort. We all work together. I couldn't do it without Brigid. Brigid couldn't do it without the
Right.
board
I
and, you know, the rest of the staff members. So we are a family, and we couldn't do it without the community. And you know, welcoming us to, you know, your TV station just to talk about Mother's Home. So it's just a team effort, and we thank you.
I thought it was very valuable.
Thank you.
to have you on.
Thank you.
And anything I can do to help Dennis. I will eventually get around to the cooking thing, but he should also be respectful of me trying to do a couple more films that I would like to make, and all the responsibilities that it's not about me. Thank you very much, ladies.
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
This is John Ricciuti again, and thank you for being our guest today on A Person or Persons of Interest. And until next time, thank you.